Hello and welcome to my second tutorial about web scraping. So in the previous video, we did go over a sample of HTML and we did learn how we can use Beautiful Soup to scrape this HTML, and we used some of the methods like the .find and prettify. Today in this video, I will walk you through how to scrape an actual website. So here I do have this sample website, and actually the source code is saved in our local host in sample.html, and we will learn how together we can open this HTML and parse to get our data from it. As I mentioned before, web scraping is parsing a content from a website by pulling out exactly the information that you are searching for. So maybe, for example, you want to pull down some headlines from a news site, or monitor the prices of some items on an online store, or grab some scores from sports website. So this video is for absolute beginners, people does not know anything about HTML or web scraping and know a little about Python. So this is the right place for you. You don't need to be extremely familiar with the HTML in order to scrape website, but definitely it helps to know basics in order to create a scraper. So I will explain the structure of the HTML. So in this website, as you can see, I have the title, or the head is a test website, and then I have a picture that explains the HTML. Then I have another section with a link to my YouTube channel and a paragraph, another section with another link for the first tutorial that I made, with a section paragraph, and then the footer. So I would like to show you here the source code. The HTML is like a tree structure. So you will see the tags are nested inside each other, and the HTML element consists of tags nested inside each other. And we have the first element. The HTML element consists of two main elements, the head and the body. Each one have other tags. So like the head body, it has a title, and the title, this is what defines the tab of your web page. In the body, you will see most of your data. So here I do have the title, it's here, and also I have the first section and also the second section. The content of your web page will exist inside your body. So let's go to this picture. The HTML element consists of a start tag and an end tag, and both are identical. So as you see, title, I have the start tag and the end tag. Both are identical except the closing tag, or the end tag, has a forward slash. And what's in between those two tags is a content, and that's what we need to parse out. And extra stuff like the attribute. Attribute is just provide additional information about the element, and the element can have more than one attribute. For example, I have this image, source is an attribute, and this is a value of the source, and also style is an attribute, and this is a value. So it can have more than one attribute, and they always comes in the start tag. So after the start tag, not at the end. And they are shows in a name value pair. Like this is the name and this is the value. Before scraping this website, I would like just to go over some basics of the names of our tags. So we know the title now. This is the title of our page. H1 defines the large heading, and we have 6 H tags. So we have from H1, which is the largest size, and H6 is the smallest size. The image, this is where you are inserting an image, and here I do have my image. It is saved already in my directory, so I am reading it, and that's why you can see it here. HR is just a break. This is the line that you can see here. This is a break. And div defines a division or a section. So as you can see, I have this first article as a section, and this is a second section. And inside the dev h2, this is like a subheader, and this is smaller in size, as you can see, from h1, which is a test website. And we have the a tag. The a tag is an anchor tag, and it defines a hyperlink. And here the href is a attribute, and the value of the href is the URL of our YouTube page. And the p tag is just a paragraph. Same thing, it's repeated here. And then at the end, we have a third division or div, and the class is footer, and it has only a paragraph. On the website, as you can see, if I did click on link to my YouTube channel, it will take us to the YouTube channel because that is what already embedded here. As you can see, the HTML is like a tree structure. It is nested inside each other. The HTML element considered to be the root element, and head is a child of the HTML element. Same thing with body is a child of HTML element. This means the HTML element is a parent of head and the body. Same thing, body is the parent of h1, image, the div, and the other div. Div is a parent of h2. h2 is a parent of the a tag. And a tag is a child of h2. Now let's start to see how we can scrap this website.
So before start writing any code, I would like to show you how to get the source code or the HTML code of a website. So again, in our example, we are saved it in our local host, but from a website, how we can do that? So the way to get the HTML source code of your web page is to, from your browser, I'm here using Chrome, but it's the same concept for any browser. You will need to hit the right click and go to inspect, and this will open the source code for you. I will make it a little smaller here. All right. Now, as you can see, I have the same exact HTML that I used to have before. Let me open. Here we go. So this is exact HTML that we are having, but this is saved. This is the HTML source code of this web page. So we have here the head tag and the body tag. Inside the head, you can click on this and or the three dots, and it will expand the nested code. And as you can see, I have here the title. The good thing about that there is a selector. When you start hovering over any place, let's hover over the test website. As you can see down there, it select H1 test website. Again, if I did hover over the picture, it is selecting the image source code. Same thing when I go to the first div, so link to my YouTube channel, and it is selecting that as well. So here you go. This is selecting the anchor tag of my YouTube channel. Same thing with paragraph. Here it is selecting the paragraph. And whenever you hover over or move your mouse over the HTML itself, it will select where this source code reflecting to. So here I can go to div article 1, open my h text. So here it is selecting my h2, and then I can go to the link. It's selecting that. When I hover over the p tag for my article 2, it is selecting that. Same thing, we can go here and open the footer, and it is selecting that too. Let me go down here. Here you go. So scraping a website, really, it is not that hard, and by using the inspect tool, it will be so easy to get the source code of the HTML. Now let's start write some code to extract this data from this website. So I do recommend, if you are new in learning coding, to write down the steps in words and then translate that into code. And I will show you this in this video. So the first thing we need to do is we need to open an HTML file. The second step is we will use a beautiful soup to parse this HTML file. Now let's write the code for our first step. So to open an HTML file, we will use the open method. So we'll start with saying with open. And actually this method can open other types of file like a CSV or Excel sheet. And as you can see, the open method, the first argument it takes is the file, and in our case it will take sample.html. And the mode here is referring to how we are going to open this HTML file. Are we going to read it, or read and write, or just write it? So in our case, we're going to read. So let's start. So here I can just type sample.html, and the editor should get it for me. And the other way you can do is you can open your project and select the file that you want, then select copy path. After that, you'll get some options. You need the path from content root, just copy, and here I will paste it. Then the next argument is we'll use the R for read. And I will put that into a variable and I will name it HTML doc. Now the next step is to use Beautiful Soup to parse this HTML. And we already went over that in our first video. So I'll start by saying soup as a variable is equal to Beautiful Soup. And the first argument is the HTML source code. In this case is the HTML doc. And then the second parameter is how we're going to parse that. So we are going to use the HTML dot parser. And let's print our soup object, but we will use the prettify method. Now let's run the code. As you can see, I'm getting here the source code and in a nice indentation. So now we want to get all the child tags that are within this div. So we'll start by using the find method. So I will start by saying soup.find, and then we'll pass here our div tag. Let's print that out. And before that, we need to comment this out so we can only see the value of the div tag. So as you can see here, I'm getting the div of the first article, and I'm getting all the child tags within this div. Now, let's put that into a variable called article div, like that. So article div is equal to soup.find the div section. Now, since we are already inside this div, let me make that bigger. Since we already in this div section and we want to get the child tags that within this div, now we can access from the article div and not the soup. So now I can say headline is equal to article div and then dot h2, so that I'm getting from the div parent to the h2. And let's just print that to see what are we going to get. So as you can see now, we are getting the h2, and within that we are getting the anchor tag, and that's what we need to access. We can use a dot, so we can say dot a and then dot text to get the text. Now let's run our code. Now we got the headline of our first article. Same thing we can do to get the paragraph. So let's say paragraph is equal, same thing, we will use the article div, and then from that we will access from the div, we will access the child tag, which is a p tag. And we'll say .p and then .text. And let's print out this paragraph. Now, as you can see, I'm getting the headline and the paragraph of the first article. Now, let me make this a little smaller here. Now we want not only to get the first article, but also we want to get the second article. So in this case, we will use, instead of find method, we will use the find all method. So I'll change this to find all. And before running any of these codes, I will comment them out, and I will show you what we are going to get. Now, as you can see, I'm getting a list where I can see I have my first article, same thing with the second article, but here at the end, we are getting also the div where the class is footer. So we're also getting here our footer, and that's we do not want. So in this case, we are going to use the class article as our attribute. So Beautiful Soup will go and search not only the div tags that are exist in our HTML, but will only focus on the div tags where its class is equal to article. So in this case, we're going to write down our attribute. So attribute is a dictionary, and the key will be the name of our class. So let's write here class. So its value will be article. Okay, I think I misspelled that too here. So let's remove this. Okay, now let's run our code and see what we are going to get. Now, as you can see, I'm only getting the two articles and I'm not getting the footer within that. Since find all is giving me a list, we will need to loop over this list. So to do that, we will convert this to a for loop. So start with saying for article div, and we'll remove this equal and we'll say in. So now for article div in soup.find all the div tags where class is equal to article. Now we can get our code back, and let's fix the indentation, and we will remove this line. And also here we need to fix this variable, so we'll remove the a. Let's put a breaker here, so I'll say print, and now let's run our code and see what we're going to get. As you can see, now I have the two articles, the headline and the paragraph of each one. Now our next step, we need to save that into a CSV so we can use it later on. So to do that, we will need to import the CSV module. So we'll start by importing CSV. And if you don't know what is a CSV file, it's a comma separated value file. So it is something that can write our data in a table format, same as the Excel sheet, but the difference is the data in a CSV is saved in a text format and the comma will be the separator. So if you don't know the code to write data into a CSV, I will show you how you can search for that. So let's start by writing Python save data to CSV. Okay, and I will choose the Python tutorial. And here, as you can see, we have an example that we can follow. But before that, I think I can show you, here, a sample of how the CSV is going to look like. As you can see here, I have a name, area, country, and this like a header in the CSV. Same thing in the first row in your Excel sheet will be the header, but here the separation is the comma between the name and area, same thing between the area and country. So now let's go up and see how we can write the code for that. So first we did already import the CSV module. Then here the first code is to open the file in the write mode. And if you recall, we already used the same method, the open, to open our HTML, but we used the R to read it.
in this case, we're going to write our data into a CSV. So I will copy this line here with a comment, and I will start before the for loop. Okay, and here I'm going to replace path to CSV file with my CSV file. So I do not have any CSV in my directory, but this method or this code will create a CSV if it's not exist. Okay, and since I'm going to create it under my root directory, so I will just write the name here. So let's name it my CSV dot CSV. You need to write the extension at the end. Next step is we create the CSV writer. So I will copy this line and put it here. Okay, that looks good. So first we did open our CSV, even if it's not exist, the code will create it for us. And then we will start writing into this CSV. The next step is to write a row to the CSV file. And again, the first row we need to write in the CSV, in an empty CSV, is our header. So in this case, instead of row, I will replace it with our headers. So let's remove that. And the first header that will contain our headline value, I actually will call it as a site headline. And let's do this capital letter. And next, the next header that will contain the paragraph, I will call it still the same thing, site, and then paragraph. Let's change the P to capital. So here with this line, the first two rows in our CSV will be site headline and site paragraph. Then the next rows after this headline will be our data. So in this case, we will save the value of headline and the value of paragraph inside the CSV. So we will need the same exact code here. But in this case, we will pass our headline and paragraph value. So we'll say headline and then paragraph. And at the end, we need to close the file. So let's come here, we'll say f.close. Okay, now I think it looks good. So let's run our code, and that should save our data inside a CSV that's named my CSV. Let's close that. Let's open here. And as you can see, I got my CSV.csv. And when we open, as you can see, I do have my site headline, and under it, I do have the first headline for the first article, same thing with the second article. And then I have the site paragraph, and its value is the paragraph for article 1, and same thing with article 2. And the separation here between each value is a comma as a separator. Now, at the end of this video, I hope that you got an idea how you can open a HTML that's already saved in your directory, how we used Beautiful Soup to parse that out, and we were able to loop over our div tags to get the data that we want, and we save that into a CSV. The next video, we're going to parse out an actual website that's not saved in our directory. And at the end, I would like to thank you for watching, and please let me know in the comments below what other topics or projects you would like to know or learn, and I will cover that. Thanks for watching.